Bong, you said you're trying to figure out what a knockdown is. I'm
Yes, sir.
assuming you talking about that Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. fight, right?
Absolutely. You already know. You already know.
S-
You
s-
already know.
So
Hey,
I
before
know
listen,
y'all
hold on,
watched it.
hold on. Before we even get there, appreciate everybody tapping in. We're gonna tell y'all from the beginning. Please like, share, and subscribe. We truly appreciate it. So we'll get that at the Holy Trinity.
With
Absolutely.
the,
Please
Absolutely.
like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate it in advance.
no doubt.
Indeed. Now go ahead, DP.
No, I was just saying. I know y'all watched the fight.
Yeah.
I know y'all watched the
Absolutely.
fight.
Absolutely.
I actually watched it with no volume because I don't want to hear the crowd oohing and eyeing over flurries of punches that aren't being landed. And I didn't want my judgment being manipulated by that. I wanted to watch it in silence and
Okay.
say, okay, this is what's going on.
How did y'all think it was gonna go down before?
I thought Tank was going to destroy him. I mean, he's beat him as an amateur. So I was like, okay, he's just going to beat him again.
Same with you,
Those were my
Bong. You thought
thoughts.
the same thing.
Um, I thought Tank was gonna win easily, but that was just more so based off of Tank Davis's reputation, right? You know what I'm saying? He got dynamite in his hands. And again, in his last fight, what was the fight before this? Damn, who did he fight? I'm drawing a blank.
The Frank Martin fight. You talking
When he
about
fought Frank
Tank?
Martin, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
the Frank
yeah.
okay,
Martin fight.
okay, okay.
So when he fought him, Frank was pretty. He was trying to stay disciplined. He was doing all the right things, but all it took was a moment, right? It took a moment. Later in the fight, he lets his guard down. He thinks he's doing it,
Hmm.
and Tank Davis has that has the bronze bomber Deontay Wilder type of um, one punch power where if he catch you with that left,
Yeah,
no, that's all she wrote,
yeah,
right? So just off name recognition alone, absolutely, I would have
Yeah.
given the upper hand to Tank. The betting odds said that it was going to be an easy win, minus 1,600 as a favorite. For
Hmm.
those that don't bet, that means that you'd have to bet $1,600 to win $100 if you're betting with Tank Davis.
Hmm.
So the betting odds favored him, saying that it should have been easy work.
heavily, heavily favored.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if that's the case on the bet and the spread,
I pretty much thought along the lines of what y'all thought. I had a good friend of the show, Pancake, hit me up. We usually go back and forth about boxing and stuff. And he told me he would hope that Lamont Roach is able to, or Lamont Roach Jr. is able to have or make Tank get in his bag and show more than he has before. And my response was, probably not. Um, but I mean, and it sounds disrespectful to Roach. So, but I don't mean any disrespect. I just thought it would have been kind of the same pattern, like y'all were saying, because it's not just that, you know, Bong, you were talking about Tank in terms of his last fight against Martin, but that's kind of like a pattern of his in general. Like it happened, if you think about his big fights, right? It happened against Ryan Garcia where
yeah,
he started slow, right? It happened against Leo Santa Cruz where you have the announcers on the side like,
Talk
uh,
about, ooh, it's gonna
and
take
if you
more.
he's like, and if he thinks Santa Cruz is gonna fall, and right in the middle of him saying fold,
Bing.
bam, here's the uppercut, right?
Yeah, he hits him with
So,
that deadly shot.
but that's not. It's like Tank is like a boxer puncher, right? So he, like you said, he has the power like a Wilder does in his division. Tank has it at his level, right?
Yep.
But he has more in his bag. Like he can
Yeah,
box, he can move.
yeah,
He's patient actually. And in this case against Roach, maybe a little bit too patient
Yeah.
absolutely.
because
Yeah.
Roach was getting busy. Roach was countering.
In some of
Roach
the
had
later
good
rounds,
movement.
absolutely.
He had good defense. Like, and he showed it. He showed chin work too because he got hit a couple times by Tank, and he stood in that pocket and was getting busy.
Hey,
So
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, Tank in regards to slow starts is a lot like Mayweather, right? And who before, I think they've fallen out over business or whatever that relationship is like. Um, Here we go. I've had this conversation with this man. Go ahead and post it, man.
But finish
My,
your
my,
thought,
my,
man.
my
Finish
brother
your
George
thought.
bled not okay, but Tank is a lot like Floyd Mayweather when it comes to they say that they're like computers and they spend the first 5 or 6 rounds trying to figure an opponent out, right?
Mhm.
Trying
Yeah.
to decode
Yeah.
the matrix or whatever, and
Hmm.
then like in the later rounds is when they start really getting busy. But he's very accurate, and even though his punch count, his output was really low. Um, Yesterday, like towards in the beginning, towards the middle rounds of the fight, he was still like landing at almost 50%. So
Yeah.
he's a computer, right?
Yeah. He does the downloading early.
And I just found it interesting that this somebody sent me a video about it was like the pre-fight. It was like the pre-fight, like one of those interviews that he was doing, right? And they listed 6 opponents and they asked him, was it a challenge or was it easy work? Right? They said Devin Haney, he said easy work. They said Shakur Stevenson, he said easy work. They said Keyshawn Davis, he said super easy work. So then they gave him 3 more. Hold
But
on.
that's but that's backwards because before he said that Keyshawn would be harder than Shakur.
Yeah. So again, let's fast forward. So then they asked him about 3 more. They asked him about Lomachenko. He said he would be a challenge. He's one of the vets in the game. He would be a challenge. They asked him about Bud Crawford. He said that Bud would be a challenge, but because of his size, because he's much bigger than him.
I
And then
saw
they
that
and then they asked him about Lamont Roach, and he said he would be a challenge. So
because he
he didn't give.
knows.
Hey,
Yeah,
again, I'm not giving him a pass, but if you respect him, you respected him coming in,
yeah.
apparently,
But you could
right?
tell that when they started.
Right.
Yeah.
You could tell that throughout the fight.
No,
And
no.
and
You could
and
tell that in the middle rounds, DP.
you could tell it throughout the fight. Like I'm
Yeah.
talking about from jump and George said something that I was getting ready to say, which is I'd look at an active fighter, which is
Yeah.
Bud Crawford, who is notorious for starting slow.
Yeah.
And he basically just is doing the downloading, as they say, in the early rounds. And then he goes off and gets busy toward the end. But in this case, they were saying um that Tank didn't know what round it was. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
dog, how you don't know
In the
how you don't
12th
know
round, he
what
thought it was the eighth. He thought it was the
yeah,
eighth round.
like
Going to the 12th.
what are we talking about? How you don't know. He said they need the scoreboards, to show or the monitors to show the so the fighters could look up and see, what round it is and all of that stuff. Like, I mean, nah, that's part of the game, right? And for people who say, just a sidebar, people who talk about they want to post the scores during the fight to kind of make it a transparent thing, that takes away from the sometimes mystery at the end of a fight when it goes
Yeah,
to the judges' cards. That's part of the game. Like,
absolutely.
you
You
know,
got to come out swinging in the 12th round because you don't know if you're winning or losing in a close fight.
and
Yeah.
and, and so and Bong, you started off by saying you trying to figure out what a knockout is. So let's talk about that in the ninth
Knock
round.
down,
I mean, a
knock.
knockdown. I'm sorry, what a knockdown is. Let's talk about that in the ninth round. Like, anytime you take a knee, it's supposed to be a
Down,
knockdown.
down.
Take away a point, 10-8 round to the other fighter. Unless, of course, something else happens where you knock his ass down. Now we looking at a different score. It's not 10-8 because you've also knocked him down. But that
Yeah,
didn't happen. If it's just you voluntarily take a knee, then it's counted as a knockdown.
after being punched.
If you
Not.
voluntarily take
Yeah.
a knee,
But I'm saying,
Floyd Mayweather had an issue with his hand before, and I forget which fight it was, but he took a knee, voluntarily took a knee.
was
No,
that
his hand
Zab?
hit
Was that
his
Zab Judah? That
I think
wasn't
his
Zab Judah,
I
was
think
it?
his hand hit his glove touched the mat. That was
Uh,
so they
let,
called that a
let,
Was
let
that
me let me look it up while y'all continue, but I'm
so
I'm pretty
was that
sure.
here,
Zab?
Go
Was
ahead.
that Zab Judah? Was that the
here's
No,
Zab
here's
Judah?
what
no, no,
Okay.
here's
no.
what I'll say. Steve Willis was the ref for the fight last night, right? And mainly he's known for his theatrics with his eyes. He got the bug eyes, so he's always known for like he's in hella memes like looking at like looking at the fights and shit. Um, but outside of that,
By the
um,
way, y'all, we in Cali. Did y'all just feel that earthquake?
No.
no.
Okay, I for sure felt the earthquake.
Now you
Crazy.
gonna
Okay.
now I'm gonna feel the after what's that shit, the aftershock.
Yeah.
But um so anyway, what I will say is now Willis is a great he's a he's a great ref, right? Um and I've been saying that he showed Tank a lot of grace last night as the champ, right?
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, the it is what it is. When they say to be the champ, you gotta really beat the champ. Like we keep having these conversations, and it still holds true. Like I'm giving any round where it's little to no activity, I'm giving that round to the champ, hands down. So you come out in round one, and it's hey man, we just trying to fill each other out. I'm giving that to the champ because like if it's a toss up round, the champ gets it. Like this is some of the things, and so many of the rounds were so close, kind of close. It could have went this way, could have went that way. A punch here, a punch there. Those rounds go to the champ. So it's not like people. I just don't understand. I don't like the fact that people are trying to like all of a sudden now we're gonna have a bunch of think pieces and TED talks on Tank Davis. Um, taking a knee and the ref didn't call it and that changed the course of the fight. I don't buy any of that
You
shit.
you think so? So you thought Tank just clearly won?
I thought that so
No.
I had it 6-5. I had 6-5, 6 rounds to 5 rounds going into the 12th, and the 12th was a toss up. I had Tank up 6-5 going into the 12th.
Mm.
I'm not
So
mad at it being called a draw, dog. I'm not
I'm not
even mad at it
but
being called a draw.
what I'm saying is it went from a lot of people last night after an immediate reaction was, okay, I can live with a draw. It was a draw. Now, because of social media, the shit then spiraled into, oh man, hell nah. What the fuck was that? This some bullshit. Roach got robbed. Slow down.
But hold on, hold
If
on, hold on,
if
hold on,
you
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. He actually, if you go by the rules of the game,
he did
he
get robbed.
did.
Yeah, he did. And
He
and and I,
did.
and I was
It's
gonna
not
say,
even a if
yeah,
so this and
if
that.
you count the knockdown,
Yeah.
if you count the knockdown, he wins the fight. Which this isn't the first time this happened to him. He fought Orlando Cruz in Puerto Rico, a Puerto Rican in Puerto Rico, and the Puerto Rican judge. The Puerto Rican, I believe the ref was Puerto Rican, and there was a knockdown and they didn't rule it a knockdown, and subsequently the fight ended up being a draw. And so this is the second time he's been in this position.
And by the way, the Floyd Mayweather uh knockdown, which was the only one of his career, it was that his hand was hurt and he took a knee. Carlos Hernandez. I just didn't remember
Okay.
remember which fight it was, but he took a knee, so he took the knockdown. Niggas do it all the time, like they do it to get themselves together. They'll just take the knee and do whatever they need to do to get right. But
Oh,
you got to know that when you do that, you're giving up the points. You are.
So,
That's just a part of the game.
so
Tank's corner said it. Tank's corner said you could get away with that shit in the amateurs. Apparently, you can in the professional sports now too.
but let me tell you what happened though, DP. So Tank takes the knee real quick, right? And immediately shoots to the corner, head out the ring, asking for a towel. And what happened? What? Hold on,
You ain't
let me
supposed to
finish.
do that either.
Hear me out. Because he moved so quickly. I think what it did was it caught Steve Willis off guard,
I
and
absolutely agree with that.
he made a judgment call based on the three things that happened: knee, out this ring, I mean, out this corner, out that corner. They wipe his face down. He comes back in, and thanks to technology, we could hear him talking to Tank and telling him, "Bruh, you know what that looks like? Like that can be perceived as a knockdown." He told him that shit,
And
right?
because of technology, the camera was so clear, you could also see he had already started the count.
yeah, he did.
So, but that's what I'm saying. So
That he
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 did.
had already started the count.
Yeah.
So
when
he already made one judgment, then he
right
reneged on that judgment.
when Tank went out the when he went out the corner when
Which
he
is
went
another, what are you doing? You're not supposed to get outside assistance from anybody unless the referee
Instructs it.
is like, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it. I'm so, it wasn't, this is where I agree. It wasn't a knockdown, actually. Like Tank wasn't, it didn't look like he was hurt. So I'm not saying that Roach hurt him. I'm saying it's all it we talking about a thinking game and all of that kind of stuff, downloading in the early rounds and all of that. All of the stuff goes into, it's a part of the game. That's also a part of the game. So if you make that decision, let's say he made the decision and then Willis says, "Hey man, it's a knockdown. You took the knee." Would you be saying, "Oh, he Tank got robbed," or would you be saying, "Tank, why'd you take the knee, dog? You killed yourself."
right. So again, either way, I wouldn't be mad.
It would have forced Tank to fight different in the later rounds.
My brother
Right.
said that, and
It,
and
Yeah,
he
it
it,
would.
would
and
have.
that could have been a different type of
Well,
outcome.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was the later rounds. That was the ninth round.
No, but
So
but you
I
had
mean,
three
in the
other rounds
championship
after
rounds,
that.
right? Yeah. So you had the
Yeah.
championship rounds. So um, here's so
And I
if you
don't
could
know who
highlight
this
George's.
is. I don't know who
Oh yeah,
this is. I don't even want to butcher that. Um, but he
sounds
said,
Yap Pushkin.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Pushkin says you don't need to be hurt, so you don't need to be hurt to take the knee.
I agree. Again, I think the refs showed.
He follows it up. It was a knockdown. Period. It should have
Yeah,
been ruled a knockdown.
yeah,
But yeah, he showed him grace. Bonk. Listen. I'm not arguing with you on that.
yeah. He
He
showed him
showed
grace.
him love.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
absolutely.
like Tank, send Willis his favorite cigars and wine. Get him his favorite type. If he ain't married, get him some ladies. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
thank that man. Like,
But what
cause
I'm
he
but,
you know.
but I don't want it to be perceived as what I think is being perceived as is he was cheating for Tank. And I think that it was a bang bang
No, I don't think it
situation
was
where
cheating.
in that moment, right? And it just he made a judgment call in the moment.
So are you calling it poor judgment? If you think
No,
that
no, no, no,
so
hell no.
okay, but you think that it was a knockdown or should have been a knockdown, ruled a knockdown
It could
or
have been
not?
ruled.
Okay, now
It
here
could have
you
been
go with
ruled.
the could
No,
have
it should
been.
have been.
Okay,
It should
it
have
could
been.
have been or should have been. Which one is
Yeah,
it?
it should have been. It should have been. It
Okay,
should have been a knockdown, but it wasn't. So since
okay.
they didn't score it, I didn't score it. right?
Hey, is it Yak like Jock, or is it Yoke like Loke? Like Yoke Pushkin, or because I want to make sure we got you right,
Yeah.
Pushkin. I don't want to be on here butchering your name, you know what I'm saying? So um but yeah, no, Bong. I'm with you with the grace from
Hey,
Willis, all that.
so hear me out. But what I don't want to, if you could highlight one of George's comments right here, it says, "Look, Tank the character is yeah." Highlight that. He says, "Look, Tank the character is bigger than Gervonta the boxer. All kind of antics last night. That's crazy." So what I don't like is right. A week ago, we posted a short on YouTube and asked folks if Shakur Stevenson fought Tank, who would win. The entire world was saying Tank is gonna wipe the
90,
street, wipe the street
97%.
with this motherfucker.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Well, and let me be clear. I'm not one of the ones that say he'll wipe the street. But I'm gonna let you finish, and I'm gonna say what I say about that fight and the rest of this one. But go ahead.
what a difference a week makes, right? He gets into a tough fight, could have gone either way. He comes out with a draw, and now I'm hearing things like the persona is bigger than the boxer. He ain't got that dog in him. You know, he's been talking about retirement and spending time with his family. He don't got it no more. It could have just been a challenging fight. Like and fighters are entitled to have challenging fights,
And
Yeah.
right?
or off nights or
Or an
both.
off exactly,
Like it
exactly.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What Jay-Z say? Bet against Tyson. You know, it might be an off night. Like it is what it is. Like it happens, right? That's what was that joint with him and Biggie?
I know what she's
Oh, you
talking about. I
cats
don't
is
know.
on swimming the fight zone. We in
Yeah,
the 1,500 seats watching Tyson.
Tyson.
That's
Yes,
Brooklyn
sir.
finest.
Brooklyn's
Yeah,
Same
finest. There you
night,
go.
yeah,
same fight, but one of us cats ain't playing right.
I'll
I'll
let
let
you
you
tell it.
tell it.
yeah,
Absolutely. So
yeah.
again, now it's all,
No,
and
no,
I'm
no,
not
no,
saying,
no, no, no,
and
no,
I'm not
no. I'm
saying
sorry. That's I love the dough.
I
That's
love the
what I said.
dough. You
My
got me
bad,
out here
my
saying
I
bad, my
some
bad.
love the
bullshit.
My,
dough
my, my
Yeah,
bad,
yeah,
my
more
bad, my
than
bad.
you know.
Yeah, my bad, my bad.
yeah.
Um,
But and that still wasn't the song. That was a different song. But anyway, Jay Z got 20 hits.
No, no,
But
yeah, I love the
no,
dough.
it wasn't on that one. But anyway,
well,
um,
we'll figure it out.
it was an imaginary player. But that's neither here nor
We'll
there.
figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and I'm not saying George said that per se, but that's the thought process. Hey man, he needs to retire. He ain't got that dog in him. Um, you know, just whatever, right? There's just a lot of stuff going, a lot of speculation now that he had a tough night in the ring. All of a sudden, everything that he's built up, like all this cachet that he built up, motherfuckers willing to toss that shit out the window over one fight. And
Yeah,
I just think that that's
yo,
crazy as hell.
listen. Let me just say this.